Blog Talk Radio.
I was talking to myself, I don't know why I opened the show that way. I keep saying I don't like it, but I keep doing it all the time. And you know why? Probably because I'm an amateur. I'm not a pro, okay? Anyway, I'm the recruiting animal. It's July 13th, July 1/3, 2016. And, you know, for the last couple of weeks, I've been telling Americans how to be Americans. And, you know, there's going to be people on Twitter now that actually listen to the show. They're, oh, here he goes again. Yeah, here I go again. Too bad for you, okay? Anyway, this is what I've been saying. I told these people that they don't have to call someone doctor just because he has a PhD. It's just a way to make an ordinary person feel more superior than he really is. And, you know, I know a number of recruiters who only went to high school, and they're very smart, and they can do things that most PhDs probably can't do. And, you know, we don't address them as Headhunter Smith or high school graduate Jones, right? We talked about that last week. And I also complained, second thing, about bosses who call their employees by their first names, but they want to be called Mrs. Smith or Ms. Jones. You know, I don't like that. I find it disgusting. But what I want to say today is that I'm not impractical. You know, if you need a job and the boss is a jerk, you have to do what she wants. So if she wants to call you Jimmy and you have to call her Mrs. Carson, that's something you have to do. The Queen is the head of state where I live. And, you know, sometimes ordinary people get to meet her. And I know that if I ever had the opportunity to meet the Queen, I'd have to perform the established rituals, and I'd have to call her by all her fancy names, even though I know that she's no better than the women I call Betty or Maureen. Okay? So that's it. I just wanted to make it clear today that I wasn't promoting any kind of foolish, idealistic behavior, but please, if you don't have to call a guy Dr. Carter and you're allowed to call him just plain Steve, you should use Steve for the sake of your own dignity and mine. You know what? Final thing. A few years ago, I went to a recruiting unconference, and it opened up with a long lecture from a PhD. And I got to tell you, it stunk. It stunk. He must have thought we were a bunch of people in their 80s who had never used a computer before. And some of the stuff he said about social media was just pure nonsense. And I told him so in front of everyone. And, you know, he didn't like that. Yeah. But you know what? That's what we do here every week. We tell each other we're wrong on Jerry. What show is this?
The Recruiting Animal Show!
On his rich man's vacation for the next few weeks, so I thought we were going to give him a good workout today with lots of questions. And I asked him yesterday, Jerry, are you going to be at the show tomorrow? And he said, yes, I'll be there. That's the only way I found out that he's going on vacation. Otherwise, he wouldn't have told me. He just wouldn't have showed up. But you know what? He's not here today. I had to run the tape. Okay? Yesterday he told me he's going to be here, and today he's not here.
Maybe
and I planned questions
call.
for him. Yeah, he's on a call. He's got commerce going on. And he couldn't send me an email or a tweet or any kind of message to let me know. What's wrong with him? Okay. My guest is, I was going to ask him, I had a curious, Jerry's got a little beard, like a goatee left over from, the year 2000 or whatever when they were cool. And I was wondering how often he shaves a week. And Now I'll never know. Okay? Maureen, I heard you talking already. Maureen Sherab, you've got something to plug. Go ahead.
I'm going to be on Friday, as you know, with Katrina Kibben. She's the Director of Marketing for Recruiting Tools, and we're going to do a webinar. We're going to be talking about phone sourcing, and I hope you all will tune in and listen.
Okay, I got to tell you something, Maureen. It's not a webinar. She calls it Recruiting Live. It's like a half-hour interview, split-screen interview.
All right.
It's not a webinar, okay? And
Tell
just
me that
so
I'm
everybody
wrong.
knows.
That's what you like to do.
Yeah, I give you a chance to promote yourself, and I have to end up doing it like for my own self. It's on Friday, 2 days from now, Friday, July 15th,
1 o'clock p.m.
26.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, 1 o'clock p.m. Okay, well, you know what? Now that I'm doing it, you don't have to interrupt me, okay? It's at 1 o'clock, and you can find the link if you go to recruitingtools.com, okay? Or just put Recruiting Live into Google. Now, our guest today, I have to thank her. I had a guest set up who got a bad cold, so she canceled. And our friend Tanya Bourque just volunteered to be here, so I would be sure to have somebody to talk to because, I can't count on Jerry. Never know for sure if Maureen's going to be here. Last week she said she forgot, and so I had to have
No, that was
guest.
the week before. I was here last week.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Maureen. Okay. So the point is I had to make
You're
sure
wrong.
I had someone to talk to. Yeah, I'm wrong. And Tanya Bourque is here. Thank you, Tanya. She's still got two names all over the Internet, but her email address is Ms. Tanya Recruits. It's better, after she was here before last time, she improved it, but it's still not great. But Ms. Tanya Recruits. Are you here, Tanya?
Do you hate that? Do you hate that animal?
I don't hate it. I don't want to talk about that. I just want to see if she's here.
You don't like it, though, do you?
No, I don't.
You don't like it. You don't like it.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Are you here, Tanya? Tanya.
Yep,
Tanya.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, we're going to sing. The song today is You Only Live Twice, right? You ready?
Yep.
You're going to count to three, okay? 1, 2, 3. You only live twice, or so it seems. Come on, Tanya, please. One life for yourself and one for your dreams. Oh, come on. What's wrong with you? You know what? There's all kinds of bad news that people are saying. No, people are saying I try to keep, my mind free from all the, protests and shootings and stuff like that. And I give people a chance to come here and sing on the Recruiting Animal Show. Nobody, even the guest, doesn't have the guts to raise her voice. Shame on you, okay? At least you tried a little. But the rest of them, that's terrible. Okay, you want to tell us who you are very briefly?
Yep. So I'm Tanya Bourque. I'm an independent recruiter. I was a corporate recruiter, and I started at my own agency back in March. So that's
March,
who I am.
So it's been very recent, and you said it's exciting for you. Is that true?
It's very exciting because every day is different. It wasn't like in corporate recruiting where you had like a daily schedule, a daily list of things that you're going to do. It's completely different.
Why? Don't you have a list of things you have to do?
I do have a list of things I have to do, but it's kind of it's kind of sporadic. And I guess for me, I'm going out. I'm attending a lot of events. These are things that I didn't do in corporate recruiting. I attend Power Networking once a month, for example, or I speak at the local Chamber of Commerce now. So it's completely different than what I was doing in corporate recruiting.
That's two things. Is that a lot of things? 2 things a month. Is that a lot?
No, that's just some examples. I signed up. That's not bad. That's 24 things a year. That's a pretty good schedule.
Maureen, she says her whole schedule is different. Let's go to ask about this thing about the Chamber of Commerce. Julia Stone also goes to the Chamber of Commerce. At least she did when she was on the show. What do you speak about there? You just tell people how to find jobs or how to hire?
So there's different things that go on each month. Right now they're talking about legislation that just came out about overtime laws. So just, kind of keeping up to date with everything. I'm supposed to give a webinar or a seminar, rather.
No, you said you speak there. Do you speak on overtime laws? Is that what you're an expert at?
No, I'm not an expert at that, no. I'm actually going to be giving a seminar on small business recruiting.
Okay, you know what? You didn't say I attend there and I learn stuff. You said I speak there, right? I thought you speak there once a month, but no, it doesn't sound like it now. I got to tell you, just try to be. Don't make me pull out the truth, okay? Now here's a question. It was for Jerry. This was for Jerry. Jerry says his experience in 25 or 30 years of recruiting is that if a candidate calls to reschedule an interview, that's a kiss of death. Don't reschedule them. Forget about them. What do you say?
I've been thinking about that. You know what? I don't think that's bad advice.
I really don't. I don't either. But it really depends on the situation, though.
Who's talking? What? Tanya.
Yeah.
Answer. I didn't hear you.
Okay. I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I agree with him to a certain extent, but if somebody wakes up in the morning and feels awful, like they have the flu and they need to reschedule, then you have to be, you have to be a little bit flexible, depending on the situation. But if you have a candidate that, is kind of fickle and reschedules, for no reason at all, then I wouldn't reschedule them.
Okay. Yeah. So everybody on Jerry's group worships him. Even the established recruiters, they say, please, Jerry, can I put an ad for my business on your group?
Wait a minute. I'm on Jerry's group.
Yeah, okay. Well, you're an outlier there, okay, Maureen? Hold on a second. Let me finish my statement.
You're on Jerry's group.
Tanya, I want to make a point. Tanya says Jerry is wrong. Tanya disagrees with Jerry.
But I do worship Jerry.
Okay. Jerry says, I'm going to quote him, no reschedules ever. If someone is interested in a change, they're going to make it to the interview. And Tanya is saying that Jerry is out and out wrong.
So what if this guy decides to take the interview and he's got gastroenteritis or the flu, and he decides to throw up in the conference room where he's interviewing, just so that he doesn't miss that interview?
Damn if you don't.
So what do you do then?
So, yeah, okay, Jerry's wrong. Jerry's wrong. That's my point, okay? You're saying he's wrong. And okay, Jerry also
Jerry's wrong.
No, Jerry's wrong a lot, okay? But he talks so loud, and he's got a louder voice and better connection than everybody. Who can disagree with him? Jerry also, he seems to take, he's going to say that I'm misinterpreting him.
We're talking smack on Jerry today because he's not here and he can't talk us down.
No, I'm ready to talk. Let's see if he's here. Nope. I'm opening all the lines. 262 just joined him, but Jerry's not here. But Jerry said, he doesn't really believe in selling.
Tell him to get here.
Jerry says when a candidate lets you know after an interview that they aren't interested in the job, no discussion is going to make it happen. You can identify the objection and try to rebut it, but you will not succeed. Okay? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I absolutely do agree with that, because at the end of the day, they're going to go.
That's a bad word.
If they get an offer
or
not.
That's a bad word.
Okay. All right, I've got to take that out of my vocabulary then. But what's going to end up happening is he'll go and he'll interview and say he gets an offer and he doesn't join. You've lost that that billing right there. So what is the point of pushing somebody that doesn't want to do something? It's just not a good thing to do, and you're not going to get a good result out of it.
Okay, there's a lot of people on the line. Does anybody disagree with her about that? There must be somebody who says, look, if the candidate gets cold feet, it's irrational. It's just fear, and you can, talk sense to the person and get them to start using their prefrontal cortex instead of their amygdala to guide them. Does anybody disagree with Tanya? And Jerry.
I don't see anything on Google that says they're disagreeing. So just so you know, I'm watching.
Well,
doing my job.
It's called Twitter.
Expecting a paycheck for doing my job.
It's Twitter. Okay.
On Twitter.
Now,
yes. What did I say?
Okay. Well, Kelly Blockdyke says rescheduling isn't a big deal. She's answering the last question. She said if the request is reasonable, then it's okay. You can reschedule it. In other words, she's saying Jerry is wrong. Okay. And she didn't answer this question. Nobody wants to take that on. If the candidate goes out to the interview, decides at that point they don't want the job, just say, okay, thanks for working with me. Maybe we'll speak again. Okay, then we'll leave it at that. Nobody wants to, say anything.
I'll take it.
There you go.
ahead.
I got
Who
one.
is it?
Donato.
Who is it?
Hey, guys.
Donato's
Donato
here.
Diorio. You're not a recruiter, but you were a recruiter. Go ahead.
You're always a recruiter when you run a company. Always.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that's just lazy. If somebody says no, you break it down to the ridiculous, find out why, and answer. There could be miscommunication. So just black and white saying no and not trying is just silly. You're going to lose good candidates that way. So I think it's pretty straightforward. You find out why, you break it down to ridiculous, you take each objection individually. If it's a compensation thing and you know that you're way off, okay, yeah, great, you're done. But if it's something that was misunderstood, you should answer that objection.
Now, let's just break it down to ridiculous. What does that mean?
Well, why don't you want to take the job? Is it a cultural fit?
You mean it's like reductio ad absurdum. Show them where, how ridiculous what they're saying, the unreasonable elements of what they're saying. Do you have any examples for us? Have you ever done that?
Absolutely. There's definitely some personality conflicts in the interview where there's somebody in there that I want to help evaluate them as a person. Whenever I interview people, I first look at who they are first, and then and only then what they know. So I want to make sure it's a cultural fit, that we like them, we can work with them. If that works out, then we go into the what are the skills. But first, it's who they are. So there could be somebody in the interview that was there to help assess what they know. It's a very different than who they are type questions. And if that person could be a jerk, they're not going to work with them, but they're really good at establishing technical aptitude, financial regulate, whatever it may be. So you can't mix those things up. So people in the interview could have rubbed them wrong, but they may not be working with that person at all. So right there, let me answer that. Actually, Michael, you're not going to be working with them. They're in a separate department. We bring them in to help interview because they are an expert in X, Y, and Z. So perfect.
Has that happened? Did you pull that
Absolutely.
out of your head like imagination? Oh, it's happened. Okay, good. So I want to welcome Donato back. He's been the guest a few times, but hasn't been on for a long, long time. He's the CEO of BroadLook.com, right?
I'm no longer the CEO of BroadLook. We merged with a company called Ringlead back in September, and I'm now running a new division, and I'm the general manager of that division.
Oh,
Okay,
it sounds like we need to have you on again.
Yeah, someday, whenever he wants. Okay,
Yeah.
I have to do an ad now. I'll have to do an ad. Okay, everybody, I want you to imagine that executive recruiters, a bunch of executive recruiters, a cabal of executive recruiters, create a hashtag called Executive Recruiters Matter, right? And then the people in direct hire, they started feeling that means they don't matter. So they create a new hashtag called Direct Hire Matters. And then the people in the staffing agencies, they feel left out. So they create a hashtag called Staffing Matters. But then you know what PC Recruiter would do? It would create a hashtag called All Recruiters Matter. All Recruiters Matter because, some recruiting software is made with executive recruiters in mind, and other software is made with direct hire in mind, and some software is made for staffing agencies. But PC Recruiter has all recruiters in mind. They love everybody, and they make software for all kinds of recruiting. You know why? Because if you're a recruiter, PC Recruiter loves you. Check it out at PCRecruiter.com. Thank you. Okay. Anybody want to say anything before I ask some more questions? No? You know what? I'm opening up all the mics and I'm just letting everybody talk. Okay. So closing a recruiting call. I don't know if Casey Donovan is on the line, but he got mad last week on Twitter. I'm not mad, but he said it was a dumb conversation that Maureen and Jerry were having, and I didn't think so. And the question was, Tanya, I want you to listen, should you give your number to the candidate? When you make a cold call, the first contact, and you're closing off the conversation, should you give your number to the candidate and tell her to call you if she's interested, or should you take her number and arrange to call her? And I guess the logic was, for Jerry, who said, give her your number, is a way to screen her. If she's really interested, she's going to call you back. And on the other hand, if you take her number, you're sure to have access at your fingertips. Which do you prefer?
So I'm a little confused by this question in the sense that if you called her, wouldn't you have her number?
Yeah.
No,
okay.
he's talking about a number. We were talking about a number that was like
a home number. A home number.
Home number,
sorry.
or
Maureen's right. Home
number.
There you go. Good question, but Maureen outsmarted you. Go ahead.
So, why can't you do both?
That's what you
What
do.
I generally do is I generally, drop them an email after I've spoken with them, letting them know to contact me, if they're interested in the position. But, most of the times we're closing candidates right on the phone. We're talking to them about an opening, and, we're asking them if they're interested, if they, want to take it forward to the next steps. And then we either send them an email with the next steps or we have their resume in hand. So, to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. So how do you have the resume in hand? I mean, that's not a cold call if you've already got the resume, is it? Or do you have? How do you have the resume?
Well, generally, if you're pulling it from a job board or you've sourced it from, doing a Google Boolean search, you have a resume in hand. You have some information about the candidate in hand, about their skills.
Okay.
So, why would you be cold calling them
Usually
without
people are using
knowing?
LinkedIn and they don't call those profiles resumes. That's why I was asking you. So I'm taking it that you use job boards. You just mentioned them. You use job boards?
Occasionally I do. I've used the ladders, and what I've been doing as of lately, when my extensions aren't working, I tend to take that candidate and look them up within like Indeed or the job boards themselves. Like we have the ladders, so it's just to find the contact information. I'm kind of using multiple sources. LinkedIn has been kind of finical with its use.
Is that a new word? Finical? That's okay. I
Great
understand
word.
Or finicky with its use. It recently changed where you had to pay extra subscription to do searches. So it used to be that, with a $29.99 account, you could do searches. And now they're asking people to upgrade to like a $50 account to be able to do searches. So the $29 account is really only good for you to see who saw your profile. So you're paying $29 for someone to see your profile.
And you're too cheap. You're too cheap to pay $50 a month as a recruiter?
Well, I've been kind of on the low budget lately, so.
Okay, well, I mean, are your Boolean search skills so strong that you don't need to belong to LinkedIn? You can get everybody you need by searching on Google? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, keep that needle plugged in.
I'm saying that there's a lot of really great resumes doing the Boolean search that aren't on LinkedIn. Not everything is on LinkedIn, and I'm finding that the good candidates have a resume on their own personal websites. So a lot of the good programmers and developers, have their own portfolio on their own websites. So finding them through the Boolean search has been more effective in some cases.
So here's a recruiter. No. There's a recruiter who has abandoned LinkedIn pretty well. Am I right about that? Yes, I'm right, aren't I?
I haven't completely abandoned it. But it's not my number one go-to source.
You won't pay $50 a month, which is not that much, okay? So that tells me you're not really using it. How much do you use LinkedIn? Because for lots of people who call on the show, that's where they get 99% of their candidates.
Mostly for ego. I look to see who's looking at me.
Really?
Pretty much.
Really? Gee whiz.
Yeah.
You have a girl's voice. You have a girl's voice, like 15 or 16 years, 14, 15 years old. That's what comes to mind for me. Has anyone ever told you that?
No, not really.
No?
Yeah,
Donato, would you agree? Donato, would you agree with me? Donato? Still there?
It's young. I wouldn't say 15, but young adult.
Yeah, okay. Now look, is that an asset or a negative? What do you think? Like, if you got somebody who sounded like her giving you a cold call, would it take you aback and maybe say, hey, I want to listen to her? This is strange, or would it put people off? I like your voice, but it is a bit unique. You have no idea as to what you sound like or the effect it has on people. Is that correct, Tanya?
Yeah, I mean, no one's ever mentioned it to me, so it's the first time I've ever
See,
heard.
Maureen
ever heard.
sounds like an adult woman. Maureen sounds like an adult. Maureen, do you agree with me about this?
She sounds young on the phone, yes.
Yeah, do you think that's a problem? I don't really, but I just think it's unique.
I don't think it's a problem. And I think the way people sound on the phone is very important, and I think many people don't realize what they sound like on the telephone. And this show gives people... Tanya doesn't realize what she sounds like. No, but one thing this show does is give people an opportunity to hear what they sound like on the phone.
Oh, isn't that great? Okay, look, what's Mighty Recruiter?
Yes, it is great.
What's Mighty Recruiter?
So Mighty Recruiter is it's several things. There's a job database, and then there's a job posting service. So it's a combination of two things.
It's a job board, Animal. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's a job posting service. So a good example is a competitor of Mighty Recruiter is ZipRecruiter.
Okay. And so you don't use LinkedIn, but you use this, Mighty Recruiter.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How much?
Well, I had it free for 3 months, and now we're subscribing. I think it's going to be around $199 a month. So it depends on what level of subscription.
Wow. And so you post your jobs on job boards. What kind of jobs are we talking about?
So like senior developer, UI designer, architects, data scientists.
And you're getting results from job boards?
Yes. And the reason is because of the inorganic job postings.
What do you mean? The sponsored that comes to the top?
No, so inorganic job postings, it's almost like getting a premium job posting without paying for it. So when you're using Mighty Recruiter, your jobs post on LinkedIn without having to pay like the $199. I think that's what it costs for LinkedIn job posting, or like it posts on Monster. It shows up on Indeed. It shows up on a lot of places. I think it shows up on like 20 to 30 job boards.
Okay, but you're saying it shows up in an elevated position near the top of the list? Is that what you're saying when you're saying it's not organic?
No, I'm saying that when I'm using the term not organic, you're not paying for that actual job posting, but it shows up on the board anyway.
Now, I saw you say on Facebook that you've got 2 clients in Israel. Are you from Israel? Do you have any connections there? Or are you an American? Is that a foreign country to you?
No, actually, I do have connections there. My whole mother's side is from there. I speak Hebrew fluently.
Okay, so it's not really like recruiting in a foreign country for you, is it? It's not really like recruiting in a foreign country. Okay, because, I see these people who take jobs in Japan or France or some foreign country where they speak a different language, and they're there in the United States, and I can't figure out how they recruit there. About 10 years ago or so, I had an HR job, and the first question they asked the person was, if we wanted to hire someone in China, how would you go about doing it? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I don't know what the candidates told them. We didn't make a hire there.
It's kind of funny that you mention it, because 8 months back I had an interview for a virtual recruiting position, and they asked me to come up with a plan to recruit in Yemen. So
in Yemen?
In Yemen. So it was a test question, similar to the one you just mentioned, and out of the box thinking of how would I recruit a whole bunch of people in Yemen.
I got to say something that won't be politically correct. I didn't know they have programmers in Yemen, okay? Except if they're working for ISIS or Houthi or whatever the rebel group there is. Anyway, that's it. So what did you tell them?
Well, I told them that I'd have to get back to them, that would require some research because I obviously have never recruited in Yemen.
Okay, so you didn't answer the question. Facebook groups. I found this interesting because, you know, Jerry and Maureen and I have groups, recruiting groups on Facebook, and I'm always surprised that there's not more recruiters in them because everybody's on Facebook and there's a lot of recruiters. And you said, I saw you say on Facebook that you speak to agency recruiters all the time, and very few of them know that there's recruiting discussion groups on Facebook. Is that true?
Yeah, I've spoken to quite a few in the last couple of months, mainly those that were trying to recruit me, and they said, well, I have this opening for a position in San Francisco, and I was wondering if you knew anybody, if you were interested, and I said, well, there's a recruiters group on Facebook, you should post it there, and they were like dumbfounded, like there's a recruiting group on Facebook?
You see, that's another issue because I read an article by Glenn Caffey today. You know Glenn Caffey, right? The famous Glenn Caffey?
I'll be honest with you, I don't.
Oh, okay. Maureen knows who he is, right? Maureen.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is it true that he named his daughter Kathy? Kathy?
Kathy?
Yeah, Kathy.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, but Glenn Caffey was saying that, you know, recruiting on Facebook is fantastic. My experience is, from all the members of my group, and there's quite a few thousand of them, they don't put any kind of professional information in there most of the time. So I don't know how you can do great recruiting on Facebook at this point. But one thing Facebook does is it shows me in the margin of the page, hey, here's a bunch of recruiting groups you might want to join. So I'm wondering why these dopes you're talking to don't get the same thing unless they don't put down there that they're a recruiter. Maybe that's it. Do you recruit on Facebook, Tanya?
I haven't tried it yet. I'm still trying to figure that one out. The only thing that I've really done is post in developer groups on Facebook.
And?
I haven't received very much response.
Okay.
So
anybody else got a question?
I'm going to have to look that one up. I've been trying to figure that one out, how people are doing it, and I know that there's some extensions that help you do that. I'm thinking in the sense that you found a candidate somewhere else and you're trying to connect with them and then you message them on Facebook. But even then, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. Now, I think that Derek Zeller and Kelly Blockdyke are the only people listening to the show who haven't called in. That's okay. Summertime, you know. I can't appeal to everybody. But I'm going to do an ad now. Hopefully somebody will hear it, okay, because I am going to get paid for it someday. Okay, so now a word from our sponsor, PC Recruiter. Everyone, you know, is claiming that texting, and social media are the hot new forms of communication, but everybody knows. They say one thing, but they really know that email is still tops. Email rules the roost, and PC Recruiter handles email the way you want it handled. You know what? It works with your mobile phone accounts, and it always shows your sent, your received, and your connected email for every candidate and hiring authority. So check it out at PCRecruiter.com. PC Recruiter is made, produced by Main Sequence Technologies, and our good friend Martin Snyder is the boss over there. Okay, Tanya, any questions that you wanted to talk about that you were passionate to discuss today that I haven't raised yet?
Well, I was wondering this. I guess I'm seeing that, you know, the last couple of weeks in the U.S., it's been kind of shaky with all of the protests and all of the shootings and things that have happened. But I guess what I'm wondering from recruiters is, are you keeping politically neutral on Facebook, on LinkedIn? Because that's something that I've been debating.
Not.
I haven't been.
They're not.
Yeah.
Jerry is always posting. Rob Drumgoole is always posting comments on what's going on today. They're not. I guess some of them do, but lots of them are, and lots of them are both Democrat and Republican are. I find at the extreme ends. So that's my.
She's worried about. She's worried about honking somebody off by speaking her mind. Is why she's asking. I bet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've given a lot of thought to it.
And Stephanie, I want to say, go ahead. Do you have something to say about it? Go ahead. Fast.
Oh, me?
Tanya, talk. Yeah, Tanya. You said you got something to say.
So I've been keeping politically neutral because I don't want to offend anybody.
That's safe.
But I'm wondering if anyone else is doing the same.
Okay, well, what was that? Was that Travis on the phone a second ago? Do you want to comment? Travis?
Yeah, I think for the most part, everybody just speaks their mind.
Okay.
I would think.
You know what? I try to.
I can understand. I can understand her concern starting a new business and worried about branding, and don't want to get out there too strong in political views and have backlash. I get that.
I guess not, but I try to stay out of it, but I just can't resist. Like yesterday, I actually got in a fight with some guy about Iran. I didn't intend to get in a fight. I thought I made an innocent statement, right? And some guy who was an Iranian immigrant, he came after me and said, was accusing me of, throwing out Mossadegh in 1952 and installing the Shah, and said I should be ashamed of myself. I said, you didn't read what I said, did you? I'm going to return the compliment. Shame on you, I said. But then I deleted that because I know that I know Facebook sent him the message, so he got it, and then I put a more relaxed, calmer comment in there that said the same thing in a nicer way. Okay, but I know that I won't say what he posts, but I follow Donato on Facebook, and he doesn't make political comments like directly about Hillary and Bernie Sanders and Trump, but he does bang certain drums all the time that some people in the United States would say are controversial, and he doesn't back away from doing that. Do you want to comment on that, Donato, or would you rather leave that to your Facebook, that knowledge for your Facebook friends?
Well, I'm a card-carrying member of the Freedom from Religion Foundation, so yes, that's a big thing, and that's probably why I would never do that if I was probably recruiting again, because it definitely would polarize people. So I'm a strict constitutionalist, libertarian.
Okay, so someone said if a bunch of people in your target market candidate said, "Oh, Donato's an atheist," you think they wouldn't want to deal with you?
Possibly, but it's their loss.
Yeah, I know it's their loss, but we're talking about would they turn off the radio when your voice came on?
I don't know. As long as you're tolerant, I've never had any issues. One of my best friends is a priest, and we have a good time arguing.
See, I just feel sorry for the guy. Those priests, they can't get married, they can't have families, they can't have sex. Period. I mean. Yeah, I just feel sad when I think of that, and you know him better than me. I don't know any priests, but maybe it's not as bad as it sounds. Anyway, okay, let's. Everyone can tell I'm not Catholic, so there you go. Anyway, when did recruiting change? I read something the other day on some recruiting article. This woman who's been a guest on this show a couple of times, she said, if you're doing hiring the same way you did 3 years ago, it's going to be almost impossible to compete today. That sounds ridiculous to me. What do you think, Tanya? 3 years ago.
Well, I think three years ago I was recruiting corporate, and I think I just started out at my last company. I was maybe there for about a year and a half or something, and I'm seeing a lot of changes in the way that we do things, but I'm not seeing such a dramatic shift that somebody who was recruiting 3 years ago coming into it now wouldn't be able to pick up the pace and learn.
Well,
so there's
what
a lot
has
of new
changed then? Like what? What's changed?
I think big data, bringing big data into things. I think.
Yeah, how's that affected you? How has big data affected what you do?
I'm using a lot of big data tools.
Tell me
tools
what.
that are
Tell me.
run on big data. So for example, HireTroll, which is an extension, is run on big data. Quite a few of the extensions are run on big data. So just those tools. And if you're recruiting in tech, I think a lot has changed within the technology itself. So you'd have to go out and get reversed on the new tools that are out there, what people are using, where to reach people. There's a lot more websites, a lot more recruiting websites than there were 3 years ago. There's a lot more information. Information has changed a lot.
Is reversed like finical, some kind of word? Reversed. Yeah, you got to get reversed on this stuff. First of all, what's that extension? HireTroll? It sounds like a kind of gasoline. How do you spell that?
It's HRITUAL.
Say it again. HIRETAUL. Okay, and what does it do? It's a Chrome extension. Is that what you're saying?
It's a Chrome extension, and it provides you data on each candidate that you're looking at. I know it provides in LinkedIn. I think it also provides in Indeed as well, and it tells you how likely that candidate is looking for a job. How is that candidate compared to his or her peers in the marketplace? Provides you some pretty good data.
I've never heard of it before. Maureen, you?
No, I haven't.
No, Jackie Clayton, I don't remember her talking about it. I'll have to check it out. Anybody else heard of it on Twitter? Any of you guys out there? Stephanie or Tom, anybody hear about HireTool or HireTroll or whatever it is? It sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah, they've been coming on the groups lately, the last few weeks, haven't they?
And
yep. I think Dean LaCosta did a demo of it.
DaCosta. It's not La Costa. It's DaCosta. It's finicky, not finical, and it's not reversed either. It's reacquaint yourself or whatever. Catch up. I don't know what word you're trying to get there.
It's not zipper. It's slide fastener. Move on.
Okay. Okay. Now, Tanya, you're the only recruiter I've ever saw.
Haven't they been coming into the groups lately?
Okay, we're passing it. You heard Travis, Maureen. We're moving on, okay?
All right.
Now, you're the only person, you're the only recruiter, Tanya, who I've ever seen, I think, talk about insurance. So you started your own recruiting business recently, and you went out and got insurance. And you said that you had to search high and low for a company that insures recruiters. You want to tell us a little about that?
Yes, I called all the basic companies that are out there nationwide, State Farm, Prudential, like all of the known names, and I couldn't find anyone that insured, recruiting agencies.
What for?
Or individual recruiters.
What for?
Can I ask you why?
For?
Yeah, why did you have to do that? For a contract?
Yeah, I had a new client that I had signed on at the beginning when we opened up, and he required us to have $1 million policy. So
he? It was an individual?
No, the company. The company required us to have $1 million policy.
Mhm.
So,
was he afraid that your contractor was going to knock over a mean vase or wreck into the building or what?
I really don't know. I didn't ask too much.
Really, when I get those, I talk them down, off the cliff they're on, and many times they go, "Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about," and they'll, erase that, or they'll take it out.
No, so there's nothing wrong with having insurance.
Talk them down to ridiculous, right, Maureen? Talk them down to ridiculous. So what?
Usually, but
what are you insured for, Tanya? Tanya, what are you insured for? What does it cover?
Errors and omissions. So, if you end up hiring the wrong person or, something happens. But now that I'm thinking about it, from a personal, liability standpoint, the person I'm hiring for direct hire would go through the standards of the company that they're hiring, that they're going through. So they would have to go through their background check.
I don't know what you're covered for. I don't know what you're covered for. If someone
I don't know what the reason that you've had such a difficult time trying to find this, it lends to its necessity.
Yeah. Okay. She paid $590 for the year, and you got it from bizinsure.com. BIZINSURE. Is that right, Tanya?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. And so let's say somebody says that you didn't hire me because I'm from Albania. Is that the kind of thing you're covered for?
Yes.
Discrimination?
You're covered for discrimination, yes, under the policy.
Is that the primary issue?
Now that I'm thinking of it, I mean that's the only thing that I could think of that could possibly go wrong. That I would be liable for.
Okay,
but I'll bet if she didn't hire him because of some reason that she should have hired him for, they would not cover her.
What do you mean?
If she didn't
if
hire
she made
him
an
for
actual mistake?
Yeah, that was indefensible. They would not cover her.
Okay, but she has no intention to be racist or whatever like that, okay?
Yeah, but if she actually made a mistake?
I don't know. Anyway, I don't know enough. And I don't
well,
there's
third party outfits that kind of cover that as a service, background checks or whatever's necessary, fairly reasonable, drug screens and so forth. I'm just wondering what kind of a claim would be brought against you that you would need $1 million.
See, to be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure.
This is a show. Please remember that.
It's an interesting subject, though, that a lot of recruiters get asked.
We don't have enough information. Nobody knows what they're really talking about here.
It's an interesting subject. I'm glad you brought it up.
No, let me change the topic, okay?
Go ahead.
You know what? There was a huge discussion. There was a huge discussion on my Facebook group. I noticed I was reading Jerry's Facebook group today before the show, and they're all saying, "Oh, Jerry, I love you. Thank you so much for having this group." People don't say that to me, okay? But there was a discussion on my group that got a huge number of comments, and they were quite bitter as well. And you know what they were all about? About whether you open a cold call or a cold email, a recruiting email saying, "How are you today?" Some people said it's outrageous. It's outrageous to ask anybody, "How are you?" because they know you don't really mean it. I mean, what are they, 10 years old? But people went to town on this. Tanya, do you think it's insincere and that you sound like a used car salesperson if you start out a conversation by asking, "How are you today?"
Probably not, but I don't think I've ever started a conversation that way unless I was talking to a friend or somebody I knew.
Uh-huh. Anybody else want to comment? Anybody else? How are you today? Kasia Borowicz, she's Polish, but she used to work in England, and she said, if you ask a Polish person that just as a formality, they will hate you. And if you ask them, you better be ready to listen for an hour, or they're going to say you're insincere. And she said she herself has to force herself to remember they're just saying hello, in other words. For some people, it's a huge issue, okay? I just wanted to know. Nobody else wants to comment. I never say it either.
I'll comment.
I
agree. I think it's a terrible way to open a conversation. It's insincere to someone you don't know. If you call a gatekeeper and you say, "Hi, how are you?" She knows you don't care how she is, and it turns her off immediately, and it sets a mark against you.
I tell you what, I've been able to get through call screeners and gatekeepers by lavishing them with friendship.
Give us an example, Travis. Travis, I have to say, Travis,
I would listen to you just to listen to your voice.
Yeah, he's got a unique voice.
You could talk my ear off all day. I wouldn't say a word back to you. I would just sit and listen.
There you go. I agree. But what do you say, Travis? Fill us in.
I don't have a specific example. I usually just play it off
the cuff.
You don't need one. But generally, you can tell. Generally, you can tell when you're talking to somebody how receptive they're going to be to, in the course of a conversation with a gatekeeper. I can easily get to, "How's it going for you?" or
yeah, really.
Why not? Taking an interest in somebody else is really what this business is all about. And as much as we talk about social media and different tools that everybody's investing in to do what you got to do anyway, get on the phone with them.
Right.
Not to say I won't invest in that one that dumps me into a database of 100,000 contractors, with green next to their name when they're ready to go on to a job. So
yeah,
I haven't found that yet.
Okay, but I think it has something to do with coming from northern Indiana or something like that, to the way you talk. I'm going to do another ad, everybody. Very short. PC Recruiter. PC Recruiter. That's my sponsor, in case you don't know. PC Recruiter handles email marketing in a way that allows you to build lists and send hundreds or thousands of emails and manage the resulting activity like opt-in or opt-out requests with ease. And that includes Canadian opt-in rules, which are really tough. And if you use Microsoft Outlook, PC Recruiter appears directly in your Outlook screen. No more switching between applications 100 times a day. No ATS or recruiting software has more or better choices for email, text messaging, and social media than PC Recruiter. So if you want to check it out, and I want you to, go to PCRecruiter.com. PC Recruiter has over 3,100 clients worldwide. And you know what? Just go onto my Facebook group, recruitingtricks.com, and just post there, "Hi, Martin Snyder. I heard about you on the Recruiting Animal Show." I want you to do that so he keeps paying me. Okay? And one day I'll get that first check. But, I just want to make them know that people are listening. Okay, here's some quickies. Well, the show's almost over. I read an article on what is a talent persona, and you hear a lot about it. Sister Allison Cruz, who's probably going to listen to this show on her run today, she talks about it all the time. What is it? What's a talent persona? It's a profile of your target candidate, right? Is that something new? I mean, isn't that what recruiters do all the time? They, draw up a list of the, characteristics that you need and the skills you need for to fill this job, to get the right person. Now, I think the difference might be that the creation of talent personae or personas at the present time makes use of big data. They go through all the performance reviews in your database or something, and you get the top candidates, and the computer figures out what the best things in them are. I don't know. But Tanya, you've been in recruiting for a while, I assume. How many years?
6 years.
Okay, so a talent persona, isn't that what you create automatically for every job?
Not necessarily. I mean, you have an idea of what you're looking for, but I don't think that there's a box. I mean, when you're saying talent persona, you're almost putting something in a box, and what's needed changes sometimes. So sometimes you'll go through the round one interview with a bunch of candidates and find that that's not working out. So you go back to your hiring manager and you tweak what's needed, personality-wise, culture-wise, job-wise. So I don't think that there's necessarily, one box, one persona.
Yeah, I don't know what you said. Okay, move on. You said you advised us in you have an article on SourceCon about how to build candidate relationships, and you said asking for referrals is a way to build a relationship. I thought that was a way to end the relationship. I mean, what do you mean?
So I have candidates that refer their friends to me all the time. And basically because I've developed that relationship with them, that they know that I'm a go-to person for jobs.
Okay, so that's not on the first. That's after you've already built a relationship. You're asking for the referrals after you've already built the relationship. In your article, you said you build the relationship by asking referrals for referrals.
Yep, I have built relationships by asking for referrals.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
So I ask people up front, do you know anyone that would be interested in this job? Do you have any friends that are looking? Do you know any developers that are out in the market? And I've gotten a lot of referrals that way on the first call.
Is that because you have a little girl's voice? I think so.
Well, if that's the case,
cute.
then it's an asset.
I didn't say it isn't an asset, but, I think it's hard to get referrals on the first call. And you say that builds a relationship. Why does that build a relationship? First of all, you're able to get them on the first call. How does that build a relationship? They like you better after, they've given you something? Is that what you're saying? How does that build a relationship?
You've
keep you
in mind.
Done something together?
They keep you in mind in the future. If something does come up, they keep you in mind. So there are candidates that have reached out to me from my last company who are reaching out to me now because
reach
they've
out
given
is
me
an animal
referrals.
bad word. I sort of gave up on teaching people, but reach out is the worst animal bad word. At the end of the day, that's another one. All you have to do is read the list before you come on the show, okay? And use your imagination a little.
I told you I wasn't 100% prepared.
Okay, well, that's why I'm taking the time to teach you. Now, you say also the best way to build a relationship with candidates is to let them know the timeline for feedback. Candidates will begin to trust you and even refer others to you. So what does that mean? You let them know the timelines for feedback.
So you let them know how long it usually takes for you to get feedback, when you're expecting to hear back from the hiring manager, that if they call you, you call them back, even if you don't have, exact feedback on what's going on. But you're showing that you care by taking a little extra time to explain the process.
Okay. Can you usually who's eating their lunch in their microphone? Okay. Just stop it, okay? Can't you hear me? Oh, I don't know. You know what? I read an article where I'm sort of getting bored of hearing myself. Should I end the show now, or should I go? Well, there's only 4 minutes left anyway.
I guess it's
nice
pretty bad without Jerry.
No, I don't need Jerry, okay? But
Animal.
What?
I have to say a couple things. First off,
go ahead.
We were discussing what everybody thought was a warranted discussion. You might have a lot of new folks out here thinking about getting into business, and then you went kind of Donald Trump on us. But with that said, I want to say that we love you, Animal. We love you.
We do.
I like you, Travis,
because
but that's enough.
Your group, I know you were talking earlier about Jerry's group. I think that's where the discussion went from the insurance. And I just wanted to say, love you, brother.
Thank you, Travis. What do you mean I went Donald Trump on you? What does that mean?
Well, we were talking about insurance and what she was paying for and what she was getting for it, and then you stopped and you said let's move on to something else, and then you went on to talking about yourself.
Oh. Okay. There's just a couple of more things. Okay, linked boomerang candidates. I want to say that Tanya said she made a statement on Facebook that she was told years ago that very few companies would go after their ex-employees. I thought that was the cool thing to do. They call them boomerang candidates. Right?
Really?
Yeah. And you've got Windows 10 on one of your computers and Windows 7 on another. How do they compare, Tanya?
I miss Windows 7. Windows 10 it's strange. And there's a lot of programs that, we're working on Windows 7 that don't work on Windows 10, and I think that when Microsoft made the I have some games. They're non-recruiting programs, but there's some games that I like to play that they don't work they don't work on the Windows 10 platform.
I had the same experience, and that's why I switched back. But when I switched back, I found that I had lost on Windows 7 some minor but functions, but ones that I use a lot. So I decided to stick with Windows 7. Would you advise people to change? Doesn't sound like it to me.
I wouldn't. There's very few benefits to Windows 10, and I think it's going to take a while for people to get used to it. I think the transition from XP to the next generation of Windows, and I can't remember what it was after XP, but that was also a big change for a lot of people. But what Microsoft did this time was almost by force.
Okay. Hey, Tanya,
That's
you know
why
what?
I run Linux.
Tanya Bourque, Ms. You use Linux, eh? It was Miss Tanya Recruits. Ms. Tanya Recruits. Tanya Bourque, Bourque. Am I right about that?
Yep.
Did I spell it right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think I did too. Maureen, Travis, our good friend Donato made a call. Thanks, everybody, for coming
Amy Beth is a good communicator.
Where does
Beth
whiskey
does a
fit
good
in
job
with recharging?
At what she does at being
Does that make me an
community
introvert?
manager. That doesn't make her an extrovert.
Yes, Jerry, you're an introvert.
Jerry, if you drink alone, then you're an introvert.
What if I drink alone, but I call a lot of people all night long because I want to talk to somebody?
Then you're an extrovert.
While you're drinking.
Okay.
Then you're an alcoholic, but that's okay.
I don't think that can be underestimated.
Well, Marco, let me
That is shocking. I'm just jumping in to say that is shocking. Okay, I'm back to listening.
Isn't that funny? When I start to talk, finally get a chance to start talking, the mouthpiece comes in. Go ahead, Jer. Take over.
Well, it's like you're a puppet, and it's Jerry's voice. He's the ventriloquist.
Hey, I was just interjecting. I'm not taking over. I was just interjecting.
You guys, I have to say, no banning on this show. Nobody's that bad. And you know
here's
what?
Here's the deal. The dude is full of negative energy, and I'm just saying I simply don't. The after show is not about negativity. It's not about
Jerry? Jerry, if you open your eyes, you'd see he talks to you just like you talk to me. It's constantly, Animal is an idiot. Everything he says is nonsense. I used to like the show, but now it's nothing. I don't kick you off.
Hey.
I don't kick you off the show, and
you're
not
a friendly
going to
guy.
kick him off, okay?
Hey, I just don't need it. If he is ready to say that he's done with it, then I embrace his participation.
All right, so 18 years in the industry, started with the family firm, recruiting industry.
Oh, there you have it.
Jerry, wake up. You recommended this guy. Go ahead.
I mentioned it offhand when I was in a drunken stupor.
Don't ask Jerry for advice after 5 p.m. Okay, go ahead, Brian.
God.